go, here I go, here I go. Yeah, here I go, here I go.
Before we get into today's episode of the podcast, I just want to give a quick shout out to my boy Mracks, who just dropped an album today called Next Up. 9 songs are featured in the album. It will be available on Apple Music and Spotify, so make sure to go check out the new Mracks.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Take Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Burleson, and in today's episode, the Pistons lost their 49th game against the Knicks in heartbreaking fashion, might I add. Head coach Monty Williams was so upset to the point that we're going to roll a soundbite clip just in a little bit. And then also, we'll get into why the NBA has a refereeing crisis on their hands. Right after we thank our sponsor, Adobe Pro Premiere, for the ultimate video editing solution for professionals and enthusiasts alike. With its interface and powerful features, Premiere Pro empowers you to bring your creative vision to life. From seamless editing to stunning effects, unlock endless possibilities for your projects. Try Adobe Premiere today and experience the difference in your videos right away. Now, Pistons Knicks, Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden is the mecca of basketball, first of all. The Pistons, worst team in the NBA. The Knicks are 4th in the Eastern Conference. Close game. The Pistons have had 19 of their 49 games be close. And against teams like the Knicks, who are in the top 5 of their respective conference. And when it comes to the end of the game and not being able to get it done, for some reason, the Pistons just can't get it done. They can't. And when it comes to the end of the game, when the Pistons needed a turnover, they got it. Asir Thompson, great rookie player. Great rookie player. The Knicks literally took it away from them because of the referees not making a call that had Monty Williams absolutely furious. Check this out.
The absolute worst call of the season. No call. And enough's enough. We've done it the right way. We've called the league. We've sent in clips. We're sick of hearing the same stuff over and over again. We had a chance to win the game, and the guy dove into Asar's legs, and there was a no call.
A foul, by definition, is a player shall not hold, push, charge into, impede progress of an opponent. And when you look at this play, Asir Thompson was charged into and was not able to go forward because Dante DiVincenzo just dove for the man's legs. Just dove for them. You cannot do that in an NBA game, just like Monty Williams said. And look, the Pistons are bad, but they're not this bad. Their record does not really reflect on the amount of talent this team has. Jalen Duren averages 12 rebounds per game. Cade Cunningham, the man is putting up, he's had like 9 40-point games this season, or 30-plus games, 30-point games. He's been a monster. He shows up when he needs to. He's averaging 22 points per game on the season. Cade Cunningham, 3rd year in the league. Then you got Jaden Ivey from Purdue, who has been lights out. Before the All-Star break, he had a stretch of games where he was shooting 53% from three-point range. They have the talent. There's no doubt. They got Monty Williams, who is a very experienced head coach. He's coached players like Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant last season. He's been a part of a lot of good teams. And this is different for him. He's frustrated with losing. And when he goes to the podium and the players ask him, Coach, what else could we have done when the Pistons are 9-49 on the season? He doesn't have an answer because the referees take away that moment. And when it comes to Monty Williams being fined for this, I don't think it should happen. I don't think he should be fined. Now, last year, he did get fined for criticizing a referee after a game. He got fined 20 grand, in fact. But when it's the correct call to criticize a referee who made the wrong call, I don't think you should get fined. It's ridiculous that the fining is even in the discussion and the after-game reports for the referees in the NBA. Let's do a deep dive into this, because they always come out and say, okay, this referee made this wrong call at this particular moment in the game. What is the NBA going to do about the game result? Doesn't seem like they've done anything to this particular point in time. The Knicks, on the flip side, they know what it's like to have a referee miss a call. That's why when you see players after the game for the Knicks being like, what happened? Dante DiVincenzo was asked in the locker room, was that a foul? And he goes, I don't know, I was just going for the ball. Really? You don't know? You know it was a foul. It was a foul. But the player's never going to admit that, because a win is a win. That's the bottom line. Regardless of how you come out of there, regardless how many scratches you have, a win's a win in the league. And there have been too many times in the NBA this season where you look at a referee and you're like, okay, were you really paying attention? Do you know the rules? I'll bring it back to the first game of the in-season tournament. Lakers versus Suns in LA. The Suns scored and put themselves down by 2 points. The Lakers inbounded the basketball. The Lakers passed it to Austin Reeves, who got possession for a moment, might I add. And then he lost it, and LeBron called timeout. And the Lakers didn't even have possession of the basketball, and the referees awarded that timeout. And they never went back and corrected themselves. They reviewed it, but they didn't do anything about it. That's why the coach's challenge is so important. But the problem was, going back to Monty Williams and the Knicks, in that specific situation with DiVincenzo, the foul was not called, and then the next play, there's a foul called on Josh Hart and one. You cannot have things happen like that. Ever. And there's a lot of pressure on these NBA referees. I get it. But when you're looking for tickets to your favorite events, I don't care about the referees. Look no further than SeatGeek. From sports games to concerts and theater shows, SeatGeek has you covered. With easy browsing, transparent pricing, and a seamless checkout experience, finding the best seats at the best prices has never been easier. Download the SeatGeek app now and score great deals today. Now, we're going to do a deep dive into the differences between refereeing in the 80s and 90s specifically and versus now. First of all, my add, the first difference is you could not hand check right now. You can. Excuse me, could not, my grammar. You cannot hand check now. The year 2000 is when they changed the rule that you cannot lean on a player in the post and you cannot push against a player in the post. That's a big deal. And might I add, refereeing now is more difficult because the game is just faster. You watch the 1998 NBA Finals, a lot of guys, even point guards, are posting up, and you got guys feeding them the ball down low. That does not happen in today's game. You don't see a point guard posting up, ever. You don't see a guy at the top of the key holding the ball, waiting forever to have a guy back cut. It doesn't happen. Or the mid-range game. Now the three-point game is a bigger part of the game than it ever has been. A lot of on-ball movement, off-ball movement. So much happening in today's game that made it so different to referee back in the day. It was just a more physical game back then. There were a lot of fouls that got away with it, like technical fouls, for example. You would have to literally punch someone in the mouth in the 80s and 90s to even get a technical. Just one technical. If you do that now, forget it. You're going to be Draymond Green with 6-game suspensions on your lap. That's going to happen. And in today's game, and in the modern era, refereeing is impossible because humans are imperfect. Plain and simple. That's going to be today's episode of the Take Podcast, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with your host, Jackson Burleson, right here. Hit the notification bell, like the video, and also subscribe to The Take.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Broadway paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my heart